Hello everybody out there and welcome to today's edition of Celebrities in Pattaya. It's a very, very great pleasure for me today to introduce my guest, not only because he's a very good friend, but also we have had many fights together. He's not only a celebrity in the judo world and has been a celebrity in the judo world, but he's also a celebrity in business. In particular, he has a restaurant in Great Britain which is voted the second most romantic restaurant in the whole of Great Britain and voted in the top 5 in Great Britain as a restaurant. My guest is Chris Meter. Chris, thank you for coming in.
Lovely.
You're a good friend, and thank you very much for coming in. Chris, I just want to talk today really for the people out there that live in Pattaya about, I know it's your first time here, so what I want you to do is just give us a rough idea of what you feel so far. You've only been here like a week and a half.
Well, I've been very pleasantly surprised by the food in Thailand. Thoroughly enjoyed it wherever you've taken me, which has been absolutely marvellous. But as a foreigner in a strange country, my first visit, I can't eat Thai food all the time. So it was very nice of you to invite me to Cafe des Amis, which was absolutely wonderful. And I tried to compare it with my own restaurant, L'Aventure in London, and I was pleasantly surprised how good it was, and the service, and Blue, the owner of the restaurant, has done a wonderful job. And I can recommend to anybody coming to Thailand, if you want to change from the Thai food and you want to feel at home, go to Des Amis Blue's restaurant. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Lovely. And what about Pattaya in general? I mean, you must get a feeling for the, like, I remember we picked you up at the airport and we drove back and you said, I can't believe the roads here for a kind of a third world country. I mean, what other things have you noticed that's impressed you? And
Well, certainly arriving in Bangkok, the first thing that impresses you is the airport itself.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Absolutely amazing. And then coming to your house, I was expecting dirt roads, and there we were on a 3-lane dual carriageway which took us right into Pattaya. That really did impress me, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Of course, there are 2 sides for me in Pattaya. One being there is that seedy side, okay, but for tourists they should look at the other side of Pattaya, where you've taken me to the vineyards.
Silver Lakes.
Silver Lakes, absolutely amazing. You could be in the Highlands of Scotland. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
We also went to Khao Khao Zoo.
Khao Khao Zoo was the most marvellous experience. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Having the photos taken with the orangutan that you said was one of my relatives. I enjoyed that. But the tigers, the elephants, it was a wonderful experience.
Let me just tell some of the viewers a little bit about your background, because Chris and I met first back in 1963, and I obviously had just come back from Japan training for judo, and I met Chris in a little judo club in the centre of London at the bottom of a skinny little staircase just below Jax's club, funny enough. And Chris then went on from there. I took him to a lot of the big judo clubs in London. He went on to become a member of the Olympic squad and was a great judo player. But then obviously he went into the restaurant business and he's been very successful for the last 30 years, and his restaurant in London is still the best you can eat at. Chris, I think it's a great interest for people to know what you feel about the Thai people you've met so far. I mean, I know there's a massive difference in the culture between English and Thai, and you've already experienced some of the things, but what do you feel when you're here, like, you know, about the Thai people?
I think it's also called the land of smiles, and that's exactly what it is. Thai people are very hospitality they have is wonderful. It's just a wonderful place. You never see them upset. Of course, the fascinating thing is all the motorbikes that are flying around, and there's no traffic lights or anything. But I've been here now 2 weeks, I haven't seen an accident, which is absolutely amazing. No, thoroughly enjoying Thailand, and I can recommend it to people to come to.
We've been lucky because we spent a few days in Vietnam, and I'd never been there before. I know you'd never been there before, and it was a great thing to compare the both places with each other.
Absolutely.
And you talk about motorbikes, but I mean, motorbikes in Vietnam, well, you tell the viewers there's thousands and thousands of them.
Well, I think there's a population of about 7.5 to 8 million.
In Ho Chi Minh, yeah.
In Ho Chi Minh, and only 4.5, there's 4.5 million motorbikes.
Oh, it was incredible.
This is something you got to see, but the biggest shock for us both was we've turned up in shorts on an hour and a quarter flight.
Freezing cold.
And we've turned up in shorts and t-shirts, and the first thing we had to do was go out and buy overcoats, trousers and shoes, because it was so cold.
Yeah, quite funny, because I thought Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi especially was about the same parallel as Chiang Mai, but when we got there, was it cold?
It was freezing, absolutely.
10 degrees, absolutely ridiculous. But coming back to Thailand again now, and I'd like particularly to go back to the food, because we've been together to quite a few restaurants, and I know from my experience of being with you in London that I know what he does actually when we go to London is he'll go into a restaurant, order 10 different meals and take just a little bit of each one to taste them, and he gets the flavour of how to prepare the food for his own restaurant. And since we've been here, we've been like down to Bang Sarai, and we've been to all different restaurants everywhere. What would you say is the best Thai restaurant you've been to so far?
I would say the one that we went to the other day, the fish restaurant, where all the fish in the tanks, that you could actually pick out your own fish, take it, and they would cook it for you. This is something obviously with the health and all that in Great Britain that they would not allow. So I thought it was absolutely wonderful. One of the things that has impressed me immensely in Thailand is there is hardly any difference between what you might call a high quality restaurant to just stopping somewhere, pulling off the side of the road and going into a restaurant, ordering 4 or 5 dishes, and the quality is just as good. Yeah. That I found a wonderful experience as well. Thoroughly enjoying it so far.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And also when you get the bill, you're pleasantly surprised. Yeah. Because it is so cheap.
But the wine.
This is a problem they do have slightly in Thailand. Wine is expensive. Yeah. But thank you, Brian. You took me up to Silver Lake, yeah, where they are now
producing their own wine.
The vineyards are growing. They're cultivating more and more land to get more vineyards in, and this will bring down the cost of wine, and that will help a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of the cost of wine in particular is the fact that they have to import it to start with, so therefore it becomes more expensive.
That's right.
But at the same token, I still found it very expensive, the wine at Silver Lakes. It wasn't cheap.
No, it wasn't, because the vineyard that they have is not big enough to produce enough bottles, yeah, exactly. And that is their problem. But as they get more and more land cultivated and more vineyard laid, then they can afford to reduce the cost of wine.
Just to give the viewers an idea, just tell them in your little restaurant, which is not little, I mean, your medium-sized restaurant, which is, you know, one of the best you could possibly go in. Just tell the viewers how many different types of wine you have there.
I'll tell you, we have a wine list, definitely something like 90 to 100 different white wines, and again the same in the red, and about 10 different varieties of champagne.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, isn't it?
Which is cheaper. You see, one of the other things they don't do here is, in most restaurants in London, you could walk into a restaurant and just order the house wine. There is no section where they don't have a house wine.
That's right, yeah.
You just have to buy a bottle of wine, yeah, and it would kick off at about 1,400.
Yeah, about 1,000 bahtish, 1,400.
But in the smaller restaurants in London, you could just have the house wine, which may cost you anything between £9 and £12.
Well, I'm going to take you to a little restaurant tonight. It's an Italian restaurant. It's in John TM. It's owned by an Italian guy, and it's always full. It's very much like an Italian cafe type thing, and very much like a home cooking type place. But the wine in there, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's only 300 baht a bottle.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that, Brian.
So we'll take you to the little Italian, but in all fairness, where would you like to go? Where's your best place you've been to so far?
I insist that we go back to Desamay and be served by those lovely girls and that beautiful food. Thoroughly enjoy it there, Brian. That's our stop after tomorrow.
Cafe Desamay's after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Chris, thanks very much.
My
thanks
pleasure.
for being a good buddy. And I hope the viewers have enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.